Welcome to this exciting story. Subscribe now. The Thousand Colors of the Ganges, a collection of folk tales. Volume 1, North India, the Sacred River. Chapter 1, the chapter of holy colors, sevenfold blessings. The Holi Square in Delhi steams with heat under the March sun, and colored powders float in the air like clouds. As soon as Aaliya steps onto the stone steps, she hears a shrill cry. A little girl in a yellow dress is huddled on the ground, covering her eyes. Patches of red rashes appear on her cheeks. Her mother is bustling about, wiping the fluorescent blue powder from her forehead, while the chemical-based colored powder in the plastic bucket is giving off a pungent aroma. Allergic again, the old woman selling flower wreaths shakes her head. In the old days, the colored powder was a mixture of turmeric and rose water. Now these colors could poison the fish in the Ganges. Aaliya crouches down and runs her fingertips across the little girl's scalding forehead. The powder glows with an unnatural fluorescence in the sunlight, like a false layer of sugar coating. She remembers her grandmother's words before her death. The colors of Holi should be a gift from the earth, not the wastewater from chemical plants. Heading south along the Ganges plain, the bumpy jeep kicks up a red cloud of dust on the dirt road. When Aaliya meets Balu in the color village where the Dalits live, the old man is grinding dried basil leaves on a stone mill. Despite his blindness, his eyes accurately avoid every withered leaf. Industrial powder has 7 scents, he suddenly says, sniffing the air. The sour smell of formaldehyde, the bitter smell of benzene, and ... double quotes. His finger slides across the clay pot on the edge of the stone mill. The real colored powder should have the sweet freshness of morning dew and the rhythm of the Rig Veda. The workshop is filled with faded clay vats, and the remaining pages of the color holy scripture in the corner are covered with a plastic sheet. Balu's father was once a court painter. After the abolition of the caste system, they were pushed out of the market for insisting on the traditional method. Each basil leaf should be picked during Shiva's morning prayer. The old man's palm strokes the withered plants on the wooden rack, and his fingertips stop at a curled mango leaf. During the partition in 1947, my father used this yellow powder to draw courage runes for refugee children. They said their skin would feel hot, as if kissed by the sun. Early the next morning, Aaliya follows Balu into the rainforest. Dew forms into beads on the basil leaves. The old man suddenly stops, faces east, and folds his hands in salutation. The followers of goddess Kali are picking neem flowers. Let's take another path. He gently taps the ground with his bamboo cane and can actually distinguish plants by the smell of the soil. Sandalwood is on the left with the mellow scent of forgiveness. Madder is on the right, hiding the pungency of courage. When the first ray of sunlight penetrates the tree crown, he picks 7 complete basil leaves, each growing in the direction of the Ganges. Back in the workshop, Balu starts to prepare the sevenfold blessing powder. With each turn of the stone mill, he murmurs a verse from the Rig Veda. The turmeric powder leaps like broken gold in the morning light. When the madder juice is mixed with the Ganges mud, it makes a faint humming sound. During the border conflict in 1962, my mother used this red powder to draw crosses on the bandages. He suddenly smiles. His sunken eyes are shining. The wounded soldiers said that what they saw in the wound was not blood, but Krishna dancing. On the eve of Holi, Aaliya follows Balu to visit their last collaborator, Kamala, a washerwoman living on the Ganges beach. The old woman takes out a faded cloth bag from her sari, inside which are dried lotus petals. During the Bhopal gas leak in 1984, I used lotus powder mixed with Ganges sand to wipe the children's bodies, she says. As her fingers slide across the petals, a faint layer of gold powder remains on her palm. The sacred gold powder only reveals itself in the hands of those who are in awe. In the market, Ashok's plastic buckets are piled up like a colorful hill, and a loudspeaker is playing on a loop. Buy 2, get 1 free for fluorescent powder. This merchant, who once followed his father to sell natural pigments from door to door, is now smearing chemical powder on tourists' faces. Tradition. Those old things should have been in the museum long ago. It's not until he sees Balu's ox cart passing by, and the ground where the wooden wheels roll leaves glowing footprints. A miracle of the mixture of 7 sacred tree powders. On the morning of Holi, the rural fields in Mathura are covered with fresh mango leaves. Aaliya stands beside Balu, watching him measure the angle of the sunlight with a bamboo pole. 7 colors correspond to 7-fold blessings. Now the sun is in Virgo, it's the right time to prepare the yellow of wisdom. When the first handful of mango leaf powder is tossed up, the children exclaim in surprise as they find the powder taking shape in their palms. A flame pattern appears on the palm of the introverted boy, and a lotus blossoms on the back of the self-abased girl. This is the karma manifestation recorded in the color Holi scripture. At noon, on the Ganges beach in the Holi Gate Square, tens of thousands of people gather. Balu uses a peacock feather pen to draw the outline of Krishna on the sand. Aaliya arranges the 7 powders according to the constellations. Basil red on the right eye, symbolizing the breaking of prejudice. Sandalwood white on the chest, symbolizing forgiveness and rebirth. When Ashok comes with the villagers carrying the last pot of turmeric powder, the crowd suddenly falls silent. This is the natural pigment he ground overnight with the ancestral stone mill after visiting the old craftsman. A sudden downpour strikes just before dusk. The colored flood made of chemical-based colored powder rushes into the Ganges, and dead fish immediately float to the surface. However, Balu's blessing-colored powder turns into a colorful light belt under the wash of the rain. And then a miracle happens. The light belt moves like a living thing, gradually gathering into the figures of Krishna and Radha. The lotus-eyed god looks at every child, and the skin burned by the chemical powder heals in the golden light, while the shadow of self-abasement recedes with the water flow. Ashok kneels on the beach, looking at the gold powder in his palm. He remembers the clay pot his grandfather gave him before his death, which contains the last batch of natural colored powder from the 1947 partition. Engraved on the bottom of the pot are the Sanskrit words, "Colors have no nobility or baseness." My father said that the colored powder of Holi is the language of the gods, Balu says, putting his hand on Ashok's shoulder. Now, the Ganges has heard our prayers. Late at night, Aaliya comes to the riverside alone. In the moonlight, the riverbed where the colored powder has settled reveals ancient reliefs. Krishna is scattering 7 colors among people of different complexions. She suddenly understands the secret that Balu can smell the karma of plants. When his fingers touch the pungency of basil, he hears the shouts of anti-British warriors. When he rubs the mellow sandalwood, he remembers the hands that supported each other during the partition. These details, forgotten by industrialization, are the true blessings of Holi. Next year, we should go to Kochi, Balu says, tapping his bamboo cane on the beach, which actually draws 7 glowing tracks. The Dalit craftsmen there can carve blessings with snake bones, and this has been in the memory of the Ganges longer than chemical powder. As he turns around, the clay pot at his waist makes a soft sound. Inside are the remaining colored powders from today. Those colors that showed their magic in the rain are gently swaying with the tide, like thousands of unextinguished lamps, lighting up the initial voyage of the river of karma. The Ganges returns to calm before dawn, and the children in the Holi Gate Square have already learned, when the colored powder lands on their shoulders, there's no need to wipe it off in a hurry. It could be the red of courage, the yellow of wisdom, a poem of exclusive blessings written by the Ganges in your palm. This episode ends, but the story continues. Subscribe now.